Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to?
Welcome again to Straight Talk. My name is Ahmad Shakaraki. And on Straight Talk, we deal with political, social, and economics. Here in Michigan, across the U.S., and abroad. Now, joining me tonight,
Dennis Burnside.
Paget Maynard.
Okay, man, we got a lot to cover, but you were saying about the thing that's going on in Texas right now. The Democrats done left and went to most of them in Illinois, they were saying.
Mm-hmm.
And in Texas, they got people there talking about putting them in jail and fining them and so what's the deal?
The big deal is Donald Trump. Now, this is where they're pretending it starts. But I think Dennis going to be able to hit us some stuff that shows what really the background behind it. But Trump decides he should and he deserves 5 more seats out of Texas.
I mean, why?
Because he got so many votes there. Look at the votes I got. So I should really have 5 more seats for the House.
But it's 5 years before that.
When you have apportionment of congressional districts, it's done based on the census. That's the tradition.
Every 10 years.
Uh-huh.
Every 10 years.
Yeah.
And you've had a few cases in the last 20 years where Republicans tried to push through a reapportionment in the middle of that 10 years and went to the courts. And in one case it was allowed, in another case it was denied.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's a 10-year period.
Yes.
Now, we just had one 2 years ago. And Trump says, he wants 5 more districts. He said he wants 5 more voting districts because he deserves it.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Now, what we see, though, if you look at the voting rolls in Texas, registration, it's 49% Democratic, 37% Republican, and the rest are made up of independents. Now, how in the world, based on that, and based on the votes in elections that have happened in the last few years, do you arbitrarily decide that you deserve more votes?
Yeah.
He wants more districts because it will have a greater chance of not being impeached and called on the carpet.
Right.
And so this is another example of Republicans really not caring about democracy.
No.
They don't care about democracy.
No.
They care about power.
Yeah.
And this is their way of trying to assert power and say, we're going to take these dominant black districts which vote Democratic, and we're going to take away their voting leverage. We're going to encircle them with the predominantly white population, and that vote now will be a Republican vote, and we can get done what we're going to do.
Right.
The good news is we're seeing Gavin Newsom of California and other governors say, you do it there, we're going to do it here. We've already got the legislation ready to go.
Illinois is doing it.
If you pass this, New York too, Ohio, there's other states. They say if you pass this, this is what we're going to do. So not only will you not gain anything by those 5 seats in Texas, you're going to lose more than you gain.
Exactly.
So I think we're right now at a point where we know the Republicans will do it. I think the Republicans are sitting back and thinking, have the Democrats really have their balls dropped? Have they finally dropped? Are they really going to fight back, fire with fire like Newsom says? Or are they going to let us continue to push them around and punk them?
Well,
that's the question.
Yeah, well, see, and it happened in Texas, remember now, happened a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
That was one of the cases.
Yeah.
You see, the problem there is when Ted Cruz tried to jump on a plane and run away, when all that lack of heat and all kind of thing with the storms and thing, and they called him out, he finally came back. But they want to say the Republicans now saying the Democrats, and it's so stupid. You touched it a while ago, Ahmad. We are going to bring them back, lock them up,
Yeah.
charge them,
Yeah.
and all kind of thing, and calling them names.
Yeah.
Where they get the authority? The governor, Abbott, he is basing his whole thing on the Attorney General,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Paxson or something like that. His opinion, which is not binding.
No.
It's not a binding thing, but he is basing his argument on that. This is what we're going to do.
Same thing with them saying we're going to get the FBI to get. The FBI can't do anything about this legally.
No. No.
But legality has very little to do with what the GOP will attempt to do. We see that from these ICE raids where they're grabbing people off the streets with no probable cause, with no warrants for arrest, with no right to do what they're doing, and they're doing it anyway. So it's not about legality. It's about the boldness of them asserting this authoritarian government on us and what we're going to do in terms of resistance. That's what it's going to come down to.
and
This ain't about law anymore.
No.
I got to read you this one here with Abbott and Paxson. Abbott is saying, I will use my full extradition authority to demand the return to Texas of any potential out-of-state felons. Any potential out-of-state felon. Well, if they're out of state, you don't have the right. You could ask for extradition, but they don't have to.
Well, the thing is that they expect the people to do the same thing they did before. You know, that's what they expect, and I wouldn't be surprised if they, if they do. That's the reason I'm not, when they say, well, we out here.
It comes down to one thing here. We know Donald Trump is a cheat. The other day they claimed that a couple of times they caught him cheating playing his golf. I guess when he was in Scotland.
There's a whole book written about that.
I know, but this is something just happened again. So if this is true, and what he's doing here now in Texas, and John Abbott, who's supposed to be some kind of a lawyer, was attorney general and all of that, and he is allowing Donald Trump to push him into doing something so stupid.
Well, I wouldn't, some of these people, I wouldn't say Donald Trump is pushing because
he was pushing for
but
that.
look, it's a lot of these people, man, are willing to do this stuff.
They're willing to do it, but he's pushing. They would not have done anything if he didn't push, if he wasn't demanding that it be done.
Okay.
And they're following him because he is their leader. He is the cult leader.
I just believe there's a lot of these people, man, who are doing these things. They wanted to do them anyway, and now they can do it, man. That's what I believe.
Well, they're only able to do it now because of who they have, Donald.
Right. Go ahead.
So that's the whole big thing there. Donald Trump demands this, and they are such pusillanimous that they can't even see beyond their nose. Donald Trump says jump. And one person I heard saying, well, if he says jump, we just ask how high. Or we stay up there till he say come down. Dumb. And you tell me these are people representing you, forming government, doing things for you? No, man.
The thing of
Ask yourself, though. If Trump is losing his base, which we see, that's a fact, what are they afraid of?
Why are they afraid of him?
You said they say when he says jump, we say how high.
I know. I heard a congressman say.
Hey, let me get to the question.
Yeah.
You say they say when will we come down? What are they afraid of?
I don't know.
Come on, man. It ain't just Trump.
Who else is behind it, right?
Yeah, there's a class of oligarchs out there who, Peter Thiel is one of them, that are funding the Heritage Foundation. Project 2025, who are funding the selection of these bought and paid for Supreme Court justices, again, through the Heritage Foundation. It's not Trump. Trump is the meme. He's the figurehead.
Yeah.
He's the one who's dumb enough and stupid enough and had enough charisma among these mouth breathers to see this stuff brought to fruition. But he's not really what they're afraid of. They're afraid of that bank account that they're not supposed to have access to being divulged. They're afraid of that mistress that they're not supposed to have being brought to light. They're afraid to have that child that was born out of wedlock on the side being brought to light. They're afraid of that prostitution ring that they're implicated in being brought to light. There's a lot of compromise being going, and in addition to the compromise, it's open corruption and bribery. There's properties that they shouldn't have. What's that Lord, what's her name, Boebert out of Colorado? What's her name, the congresswoman out of Colorado? Now this woman literally, man, can't do long division. She's never finished a book in her life. She doesn't have a high school diploma. She thinks it's a good idea to go to a public arena full of parents watching their children perform, and her and her date vape weed, and she give him a hand job. She's at that level of maturity and intellect where she thinks she can get away with it now. A dummy like that is worth multi-millions of dollars now. Now, what did she do to earn it? Because before she came to Congress, she had a failing saloon, her and her husband that she was cheating on. That was failing. They were going bankrupt. She gets into Congress, and now she's a multi-millionaire. And people want to ask how come things aren't passed that benefit them and always benefit the rich. If you want to make a dent and bring back representative government and make it impossible for morons like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Boebert and Trump to be elected to office, we're going to have a citizens' revolution where we get rid of the Supreme Court. We pass laws that say you cannot fund elections. You can't give dark money. You have restrictions on campaign contributions. You have restrictions on who can run, and then you start all over again. But the system that we're having now, Trump is, if he's discarded as I think he's about to be, they'll just bring up another useful idiot to keep on going down this line.
Well,
the vice president is the stand-in.
He's next in line, and whether or not he succeeds, we'll find out. But yeah, he's next in line.
I wouldn't be surprised if this meeting they had, or were supposed to have, that was to be at the vice president's residence, which they say, we were not going to talk about Epstein. Question is, what were they going to talk about? What's on the agenda?
You know what's interesting about that?
Are they planning to get rid of Trump?
You know what's interesting about that? They asked that fool, why are you having a secret meeting at your crib all of a sudden tonight? And he said, we're not meeting to talk about Epstein. We didn't ask you if you was meeting to
Nobody asked
Nobody asked you that.
So
we just asked you what?
You just tell us that is it.
Man. Again.
They're so dumb. And he is likely to become president in the next year or two. They're going to get out Donald before the end of 4 years.
He's definitely next in line as the VP. And you know, with Trump, with his erratic policy dictates, these stupid tariffs, this foreign policy for one day he's with Netanyahu, the next day he's telling Netanyahu to back down. One day he's Putin's bitch. The next day he's telling Putin he needs to stop doing what he's doing in Kiev. I mean, make up your goddamn mind, man. Come up with a foreign policy that's consistent.
That's the trouble.
And is based on some type of doctrine so we can plan. That's what's screwing up the markets.
And
remember, this is a man, who says he goes by his gut. There's nothing above his gut.
Nothing.
Therefore, he can't come with no proper policy to follow. How could you follow that?
Did you guys happen to see the other day, Trump was asked at a meeting about a particular policy that he had. And as the camera panned over his shoulder, this complicated policy question was being digested by Trump, literally, with cartoon memes. Not pages of written documents. You remember how Barack Obama said he used to stay well up into the night reading?
Yeah.
And the same thing with most other presidents.
Yeah.
It was probably George W. Bush was an exception because he was illiterate. But Trump had his policy written. In this case, it was by Bondi, the illegitimate attorney general, who had a cartoon meme here with the arrow pointing to the next cartoon, pointing to this cartoon, up to this cartoon, and then over here to the conclusion. And that's how Trump demands that his information be conveyed to him because he doesn't like to read or he can't read.
Yeah.
And thus, he at least has an idea of what he's supposed to be talking about. We have a
Well, they had to do
cartoon
that to give
president
him
who doesn't want to have Sesame Street on TV anymore.
Right.
Probably because he flunked out of Sesame Street.
Right. And the thing about it is that anything that's going to be helpful, educational, he don't want any of that.
The oligarchs don't. The oligarchs, the last thing they want is
Educated people.
educated people who can process
Exactly.
divergent pieces of information and synthesize that down into a thought. It's called critical thinking.
Right.
They don't want that.
No.
They want a management class who knows enough to run a machine or run a piece of software or
Do what
or write
I
a piece of
say.
software. And be able to do that, but not think too much.
Right.
Not know too much about history.
Yep.
Look at what they're doing with our history.
Oh, yeah.
They're taking it out of museums. They're taking it out of books.
Yeah.
They don't want our children to know
No.
about something is commonly known now as Jackie Robinson's story.
Yeah.
They don't want that known.
No.
They're doing things that only fascists do, and then want to tell you that you're Star Spangled Red, White, and Blue.
Yeah. And then look at what they're doing to Martin Luther King,
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
I mean, just they want to just.
I'm mad sometimes. I got to laugh.
I
man.
mean, really, but this is real though.
I know.
This is real.
And that is why I
And we
laugh.
talked about it on this show too, man. I remember one time I had one of these Trump voters, a Caucasian woman in this case, tell me, well, Dr. King said we ought to judge people not by the color of skin, but the content of character. That's where I am. I said, you know what else Dr. King said? He said the United States is going to be judged. He said the United States is the greatest purveyor of violence on the planet.
Yeah.
True.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Up
You
to
know?
the other day, I was reading
Did you know
something
that
at the number one.
content of their character? Did you know that?
Yeah.
Did you know Did you know that Dr. King said he integrated his people into a burning house? Did you know that content of character?
Yeah.
See, it's that meme education. It's that minimal ability to critically think that the oligarch class wants for us. So you get morons like that who, if Dr. King was walking down the street right now, they wouldn't look at twice as anything more than somebody who's on welfare or no good person who ought to be in jail.
Yeah.
Just looking at it.
And
The color of his skin.
yeah.
You are black, therefore you don't belong.
Or
Yeah.
your
You
DEI.
don't fit.
Your DEI.
Yeah.
You're not really deserving.
Yeah. You know.
You don't fit our place.
And the thing is that more whites are out here getting what they can because Trump is trying to close down all these different things. He's trying
Well,
to.
see, that's what they're finding out about.
Yeah.
That's why these town halls that the Republicans, when they do have them, they're encouraged not to.
Yeah.
But when they do have, they're getting booed off the stage.
Yeah.
Because they're starting to find out they're the DEI.
Yeah.
They're the beneficiaries of DEI
Yeah.
programs.
Yeah.
Your little lady, instead of being home with the apron on baking cookies, is out here functioning as a VP at some company because she's got the brains.
Right. Right.
Because she has the work ethic, is really not regarded as deserving if you look at hiring patterns. So they had to put in rules that said people like her, this white woman, gets a fair shake.
Yeah.
Diversity, okay,
Yeah.
equity,
Yeah.
inclusion.
Yeah.
The same thing goes with Medicaid. The same thing goes with SNAP benefits.
Yeah.
Same thing goes with government contracts. It's largely white people
Yes.
who get that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you want to flip the script. You want to talk about, we're supposed to be such bad criminals.
Yeah.
Most of the murderers are white. Most of the kidnappers are white.
Yeah.
Most of the victims of crime by white men are white people, but we don't hear about white on white crime, right?
Yeah.
So all these stereotypes and glib answers to why things are the way they are, DEI, rampant crime, what about Chicago,
I think
that Fox News
sometimes-
teaches them. Man, it's y'all.
Yeah.
I think sometimes they don't understand the meaning, DEI.
Of course they
If they
don't.
understood what it really means and what it brings. Let me tell you, I worked for the state for over 25 years. I had a director who said, I'll never get promoted in there. The person who said that to me was the person who's supposed to see that that doesn't happen. But you are the one saying, well, the director said you'll never be promoted in there. You'll never get promoted there. But then you're going to come around and ask, what do you think about this? Don't ask me what I think about it. I'm not paid to think. So let those who are paid to think do the thinking. They hire somebody as a supervisor. I interviewed for the job, but they bring somebody else. And guess what? This person can come say to me, oh, you're going to have to teach me the job. Like hex!
Well, that's what happens. So
Teach you the job?
that's what happens.
No, man.
I've heard I've heard a few people, man, tell me that they brought in somebody to keep from giving them the job. Brought in somebody know nothing about the job. Then they want him to teach
teaching you
teach
nothing.
them about the job.
Look, if
Then
you
you-
want me to teach this person, you hire me as a teacher and you're going to pay me a salary that is commensurate with my qualifications.
Oh, we're speaking of qualifications and pay. Do you know that they're talking about paying these people? I'm trying not to cuss.
Okay.
That work for ICE.
Oh yeah.
6 figures plus,
Uh-huh.
benefits,
Yo, yep.
all kind of perks.
Yep.
All these, all
Plus
this
signing
largesse,
bonus.
signing bonus,
Yeah,
all that.
yeah.
But teachers, who we say we value our education and our children so much, are being paid pennies.
Pennies.
Having to come out of their pocket to buy supplies for
Yep.
the students to use. That's where our priority is. But you take these numbskulls, a lot of these cats who were involved in January 6th, you get them out of prison,
Yep.
you put them to work for ICE,
Yeah.
you put a mask on them,
Yep.
and you pay 6 figures for
Yeah.
the policy. That tells you the priorities of this society.
Yeah.
Teachers
And look at
are
who
not
they,
valued.
Yeah.
look at who going.
Thugs, highly valued.
Yeah.
Once you're 18 years, you could get hired in with ICE now.
Yeah.
No upper limit age,
No.
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 not qualification.
Nope. No.
They're not even being trained.
No.
But then you're going to put a chunk of money in the pocket, $50,000 to sign your name here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then, hey, the signing bonus is more than teachers pay.
Oh yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's a shame.
And
Yeah.
then you're going to tell me these people going to walk in my yard and pull me out at their whims and fancies and I have no voice?
Well.
No,
You know,
don't you...
years ago, Thomas Friedman, who, he's a columnist for the New York Times, who I could live without. He wrote a book called The World is Flat. Y'all remember that? Early 2000s, like 2003, 2004.
Yeah.
And it was talking about how the barriers are knocked down to free trade. It's just in North America, but it's worldwide. Everybody's trading.
Yeah.
What we're starting to see now is a result of the world being flat, even though, you could argue whether it really is or not that there's free trade, is that we're starting to see that people in the Levant, the Middle East, people in Africa,
Yeah.
people in the Sub-Pacific, people in Asia,
Yeah.
are starting to become very, very, very well educated and
Yeah.
learning how
Yeah.
to run things. Meanwhile, we have children here who are raised on ESPN and in the Housewives of Houston, right?
Yeah.
And reality TV.
Yeah.
Dumbed down to the nth degree.
Yeah.
And when you start to look at the outcome and the reason why we're being outperformed in so many ways, it's a direct outcome of us failing to educate our young people.
Oh yeah,
It's all
and,
it's trying to show.
and right now, I'm thinking they both supposed to vote sometime this week. It's been, I didn't hear all of it, but here in Michigan, they were trying to get the bill passed where the kids couldn't have the phone, couldn't have their phones in classrooms and everything. And this old guy who represented Republicans, I forget his name, he was saying that Republican wouldn't vote for it. They wouldn't vote for that. I mean, 15 years ago, kids didn't have phones in the classrooms.
And the reason why you don't want them to have phones in the classroom is a distraction, right?
Yeah.
It takes away from learning.
Yeah.
And why would somebody like a Republican
They can be
say
like that.
we don't want them learning? Same reason why we just talked about.
Yeah.
They want a dumbed down
Yeah.
class.
Yeah.
They don't want people thinking critically.
Yeah.
So of course, let guns come in. Let children go home hungry.
Yeah.
Let them arrive hungry.
Yep.
Let them bring their food because we really don't give a damn about them.
Yeah,
And we don't even care about the ones who look like us because they ain't wealthy.
right.
And you're telling me this is America, the land of the who?
Well, see, we talked about that, man. To me, it's never
Land
been.
of the thieves,
Yeah,
home of the
You know,
snakes.
you know,
Mm.
it's never
The
been
land of the theocracy.
it's never been the country that they wanted to flash other countries to see. You know, it's never been that country, man. It's never been the country where people running around waving the flag and going on all of that.
You know what, man? There used to be a time, and we were all raised in it, where the United States had a clear advantage in education, in manufacturing,
Oh, yeah.
in industry, in technical development, in our university system. The United States truly was that shining city on
Yeah.
the hill.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Even under Jim Crow laws that held us back, the United States was looked at as a country that
Yeah,
people all
because
over the
it
world
was.
wanted to emulate and become.
Yeah.
Ain't the case anymore.
No.
People
no.
look at the United States now like, man, I don't want to be there shooting each other up.
Hey.
You got terrible food. You get terrible education.
Mhm.
Your government's corrupt. And the only people who still buy this narrative, who get tears in the eyes when the national anthem is played, is that Fox News demographic.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And they blame the fact that things aren't as good as they could be, not on the people who are doing it to them. It's because that person who's picking the tomatoes they just put in their salad
Yeah.
is brown skinned,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's because the person who made that music their teenagers are listening to is black.
Yeah.
That's their problem.
Yes.
They don't
Mhm.
see their real enemy
No.
is the ones that they're voting into office.
Yeah. Yes. But go
Well,
ahead.
you don't get much better. We have a saying: you can't get anything out of a bag of coals but the dust. Okay.
Well.
So if you put idiots, you ain't gonna get nothing but pure stupidity coming on to everybody.
Okay. That's all for tonight. But join us again next week for more Street Talk. Peace.
Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, you are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.